it is, but it's a great suggestion. But thank you anyway. Let me know. Is it recording now?
It's on YouTube. It's grinding into YouTube, and now I'm going to do recording to the desk.
Yeah,
Okay.
great. Thank you. Okay. Oh, hello everybody. It's just lovely to just be here for a minute. Just us all be together. So lovely. Oh, do you know, it suddenly felt like I'm in the middle of a huge bouquet of the most beautiful smelling, fragrant flowers. Thank you so much. Thank you. Yeah, we just had a bit of trouble because Joni, who's the most amazing tech, there's nothing that Joni did that was um, wrong, of course, not in any sense. It's just that I had when I first set up these meetings on this Zoom, there were two different numbers. One was my normal meeting number that anybody that has a private meeting with me uses that number. And the other one is for the Monday meeting, but I think they both say Monday meeting at different times. So the link that you come in on is the right link. But Joni had also really to try and help made a thing called a bit.ly, which is another link further down in the email, which turned out to be on a different meeting number. So so now we're going to get rid of that bit.ly and just keep everything as it is. So you don't have yet another Zoom number to learn. So that's why we were a bit delayed. And it was only because Joni was being super helpful, as she always is. So thank you, Joni, because I know you've just been through a bit of stress before this starts. So, uh, John, could you just mute yourself? Just would you mind muting yourself just for a moment? Unless there was something you wanted to say at this point. No, you're all right. Um,
Just wanted to say I like to be in a bouquet of flowers.
oh, you are. We all and a lovely equal bouquet of flowers. Thank you. I'm gonna Robert, what we do is so I just I wrote a book called Is-ness is Your Only Business, which are full of these kind of poems that are pointers to all this. But since I started last year, and Lynn and Dov gave me the opportunity of who are here, Lynn and Dov, so kindly gave me the opportunity and the belief in me to allow me to do these meetings where I recite these poems and then we discuss it. Well, one poem a week, don't worry, not loads of poems. Anyway, but since and then I changed things a bit, and I was just called to just sort of start another Zoom meeting, still completely connected with this wonderful group, 100%. But I started to get new poems. I'd just be given them, and it's very helpful to me. And I'm so grateful for this opportunity that we all meet because hopefully we all equally get something out of it because it's just given to me. I'm literally like a doorway for these things that come through. So before we just put up this poem, because this is really quite different in a way, the for me, and I'd love to hear from people after I've read the poem, because I had a I mean desperate seek for enlightenment, whatever I thought that was. I read everything about it. You know, some gave you the feeling that, oh, it would suddenly happen, you'd lose everything, Eckhart Tolle style, like everything would just go, you know, power of now, blah, blah, blah. Other people say, oh, it's subtle than that, or it comes gradually. And I got to a point where I couldn't ever answer that question because there were certain things I saw, for instance, I began to see that everything, like we all do here, everything is perfect as it is, without a shadow of a doubt, because there is no good and bad. There's just life happening for us. Yes, I think we've all would probably agree with that. The other thing was that I know that although the appearances are very strong, there isn't really anybody outside of me, because it's all my perception looking at their perceptions. Everybody I'm looking at is just a unit full of memories, beliefs, their culture, what they perceive as their identity, as is mine. So I saw that. And then after that seeing, I saw I couldn't blame anybody for anything, because it's all me. There's no separation. And I got all these things and living my life more and more like that. Great, living my life that anything horrible happens, that's fine. It's perfect. I know why it's happening. Even if I don't know why it's happening, it doesn't matter. Somebody appears to be unpleasant to me. I know that it's me. It's nothing to do with them. That was great. Things happen. So life gets, in some ways, easier and easier. And there's, more expansive. But still, I was wanting desperately enlightenment. So what did I think enlightenment was? And then I just had this massive shift. Yet having said massive, it was so subtle. It was like dropping a little coin into a big lake. You could hardly hear it. And everything sort of flipped over, so that all these things that I was believing in and agreeing with and couldn't argue with and felt like they were real suddenly became utterly authentic. And all that happened was, and I learned this from another teacher, but I've heard it before loads of times, but it didn't happen till it happened. You have to be ripe for it. I said, you don't, and the penny dropped that this idea of enlightenment, liberation, is just another thought. Ooh, ooh, ooh. It's not real. It's just another thought. Then that feeling of enlightenment dropped, and I was sort of on the other side, so that things weren't any more conceptual. It's the way it was. So I'm saying all that because I would really love to hear from everybody, but I'm going to have the poem put up first because it explains that, and it's quite long, but I don't matter if you fall asleep. Well, don't fall asleep. You couldn't do anyway. So, Joni, if you would be so kind, I've got my own copy here, so do not worry if it doesn't go according to plan, because, you know. Oh, hello, Mary. There's Mary there as well. Hello. We'll just wait for it. There we go. Wait. Don't worry. There's a. Oh, you've done great. That's fantastic. I'm just going to read from this anyway. When I was seeking for enlightenment, I was looking for a shift, a aha moment, the fireworks, the gift, the end of all suffering, the holy grail. But it was all the mind stringing out a long dramatic tale, which fed my sense of failure like a blood-sucking leech, making the dream of enlightenment seem far out of reach, like a dangling carrot I could never get to eat. And so often my path felt like a spiritual defeat. When I thought I'd stay bound, I'd get very frightened. But who told me that I was or wasn't enlightened? Who told me that I'd have to wait for a aha explosion along with a complete identity erosion? It was simply a thought, just a thought all this time that I'd been buying into. But it was all just a line, that I was a real entity with something to do. But the truth is, no one's here. And so who has been the one seeking? And where would it look? This is how my mind kept me on a hook. And thoughts can't experience anything from a book. So the mind can't ever become liberated. Its whole existence is vastly overrated. The whole story of me is just thoughts arising. Yet all my life I've been surmising that me was a person who could one day be free if a transformation happened so me could just be. I mixed up me with awareness, so created a duality. And that mistake was an absolute fatality. So then the question arose, who is the one waiting for enlightenment? It's just a thought, baiting me into thinking I needed something other than now. So I delve into books that profess to tell me how. But that would cause even more thoughts as I wrestled to be free. But if awakening was going to occur, where would I have to be? Here, present, just here. Yes, but how do I stay here? That was my fear. But the simple answer was, try not being here. Then I'd get that. And that was a real relief, as I automatically began to drop each belief that there was a mind trying to get free from in the first place, when a mind can't know liberation because it doesn't know space. Then a thought would enter again. What if you lose this liberation? You'll go insane. But I saw that that was just another thought trying to lay claim, whilst weakening its clutches on its long-held domain of a mind-made me as my true identity. Enlightenment is not of the mind. And here's where people get mistaken in waiting for the time and place that they will awaken. But the mind will never grasp this, nor will it let you be free, because liberation never, ever happens to a me. The me can't see, hear, taste, touch, or smell. It's not conscious, aware, cannot sit, abide, or dwell. It's wholly constructed by thoughts and desires, always wanting something and never quenching its fires. And by the way, you can't think, right, I'll practice being in the now, because that's just another thought that the mind can't teach how. By now I was laughing so much out loud at how many years I'd been playing to the crowd. I see it's hilarious and pathetic and absurd at how I was bound by every mental word. I let go of being frightened that I'd never get enlightened as soon as I'd realised I'd never find this dream constructed by the mind. Ending seeking for enlightenment was my biggest relief, and all in one go gave me peace instead of grief. No more feeling like a failure who'd never attain, just life living itself without playing a game. After this happened, then I witnessed, the ego, trying to remake itself loads of times. And then I thought, oh God, shouldn't the ego have gone? And then I read something, wonderful by Carl Jung, who said it's not about getting rid of the ego at all. It's about integrating the ego, because it will be there, till you die. Great. And I saw it because I remember there was all this relief for days and stuff, and I realized I was the other side of the lens. I was the other side of something. That's all I can say. And then I saw the mind, always in the shower, drying myself and think, but what should I do with this? What should I do with this? And then this thought came, just put the towel back on the towel rail. And I just burst out laughing, thought, oh yeah, that's it, you know. But you see, I had conned myself because it's difficult when you read things that are absolutely true, like the Course in Miracles, which I absolutely love. Who could not love it? It's an absolute telling all this about the tricks that the ego gets up to. It's so wonderfully. But when you've spent your life reading so many of these things, you so agree with it, you can think you've got it or seen it. I don't know how to put this, and I know you'll know what I mean. You believe in your own intellectual sort of bullshit, you know. You think, but you kind of don't know till you know. So I thought that's why last week's one was about, I've done all this work and does it not mean anything? And I don't know that either. I never know. I don't know whether doing all this work does bring you to a place, doesn't bring you to a place. All I know is it's so subtle, this waking up thing, that, and then it feels so ordinary, and that you don't even know when you know, except suddenly you know. So I'm going to completely shut up because I would love to hear. What I'd love to hear is if anybody still has that idea, and I know you'll be completely honest about, as honest as I've been with you, that this has happened so recently to me, you know, this kind of breakthrough. But I thought I'd gradually got more and more liberated, and I had, but you can't be what you're, either one or the other, you see. So what I'd love to know is, do you feel you're still looking for enlightenment? Or do you feel that this, let's get rid of that word. It's a horrible word, actually. It's awful. It defines things. Um, oops. Sorry. You know what I mean? Oh, there's Lynn. Yes. So I'll shut up. You know what I'm saying? Yes, Lynn, please go ahead. Stop me yakking on. Thank you.
Oh, this is so lovely. Thank you so much, Mandy. And no, I have completely given up seeking completely. There's nothing to look for. It's just right here. And what came to me, after all this working on myself, why am I working on myself? What in the holy heck am I working on? What is this thing? Does what I am need work? No. So what do I think I'm doing? I think I'm improving the ego, like you're saying, making me a better person, making me a more whatever person. I realize that none of that has any meaning at all, and all of this practice and working on myself is, I wouldn't say it's a huge waste of time, but it's useless because what happens is you recognize there's nothing to do. There's nothing to work on. There's nothing to change, nothing to fix. The only thing that I have been guided to do is remember my relationship with my father and my brothers. And that is, I was given direction completely. This is all you're supposed to be doing, Lynn. Stop screwing around trying to make yourself an enlightened guru. It's not for you to do. For you to do here now is develop relationships, experience love, give love, and know love. That's it. And enlightenment, who gives a crap? I don't see anyone. In fact, I don't see anyone that I would consider really being enlightened. And the reason I say that is because I don't see anyone who is seeing us as enlightened. A person may get a message and may have an understanding and may have an awakening to a different way of seeing, but if it doesn't lead to the gift of connection, and seeing that enlightenment in your fellow, then it's not really enlightenment. Enlightenment is when I see everyone is enlightened. When I see everyone is doing exactly what they're here to do. Everyone is here playing their part, and it has nothing to do with who they are, what they are. It has only to do with actions in the dream. And we all act in the dream. But in reality, we're just the love of God that's just flowing through it all. So I gave up. I'm no longer seeking, no longer studying. All I'm doing is being affirmed everywhere I look. Affirmation is everywhere, telling me you're doing the right thing. So
You certainly are doing the right thing. That is so beautifully put. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. It's absolutely lovely. I think I had the feeling that this was just for me, that I kept failing being the most loving person on earth that I wanted to be. That was the trouble. I wasn't seeking for joy or something outside of me, but subtly I was seeking for whatever I conceived enlightenment to be, you see. So I wasn't expecting anything to come from the outside. It was it and I felt, Lynn, misguidedly, because you've just explained it so beautifully, but I was misguided enough to feel that this love and being just capacity for everyone else to be what they are because we're all the same, um I couldn't get loving enough, if you like, unless I had this thing that I thought was called enlightenment, you see. So it was because I thought all these things, I've gone through Buddhism, Course in Miracles, everything to try and be this angel, to try and be loving. And of course, then I realized that'll never happen because you're perfect as you are, and that's it. And everything that you are is supposed to be everything that you are, which is exactly what you said. Nevertheless, it still persisted, you see. Until, like you, I saw through it. I just saw through it. It's that idea of enlightenment is so, it's not real. It's just another thought by the ego. So yeah, this is great. So thank you. Yes, thank you so much, Lynn. Thank you. Yes, Dov, go ahead.
Okay, thank you all, and thank you for that poem. And I think that what Lynn said is so spot right on. It's I see that we're all in the same place. It's really only one of us. You say that and you don't believe it, but that's the truth. We're all in the same place, playing different roles in the same. I'll use the word theater.
Absolutely. Yes.
Yes, this is theater. This is Shakespeare, and everyone's got a role. And it's just like a Broadway play. At the end of the play, the curtain comes down, and then the curtain comes back up, and all the players, actors, actresses come out on the stage holding hands, taking a deep bow to an appreciative audience who gives them a standing ovation. I mean, now getting to the word. You're right. The word enlightenment is really like an old-fashioned word in a way. Ken Wapnick, his last workshop, but he must have done about 100 workshops. His last one, just before he passed, was called "Taking the Ego Lightly." So it's really about lightening up and not taking anything in this world seriously, because it is a play. It's a play in circle in the round. It's we just keep going round, saying the same things over and over again. And my willingness, Lynn played Keith Kavanaugh, who of course is from Ireland, this morning, and believe it or not, you and Keith said the same thing, but he used different words. For instance, he said, "Listen, who you think you are that has to get enlightened." He didn't use the word enlightened, but no, who you are is a dream figure. Who you are is the dreamer of the dream in which Dove appears as a figure.
That's it.
Dove is not the dreamer. So when Jesus is talking to you, he's not talking to Dove. You know, he doesn't know Dove. Dove is an ego dream figure. So you are forgiving yourself. You're forgiving yourself for forgetting that you made yourself as separate body, none of which is true. There are no bodies in reality. I mean, that's why spirit doesn't see bodies. Spirit sees the light. Getting back to what Lynn just said, you see the light in each one. As Ken used to say, if you're kind to everyone, you don't need the metaphysics of this course. Just be kind to all. Don't, if you leave anyone out, you got to go back to the metaphysics. But if you're kind to all, you don't need the metaphysics. To love all is to love all. That is what love is. It loves all, including all, unconditionally. There's no conditions in love. So we're all saying the same thing, and it doesn't matter where you think you are. We're all one and the same. And
Exactly.
I'm gonna put my own little 2 cents in at this point. 25, 30 years ago, I said lesson 1 and lesson 2 is the entire course. I'm going to now go look at lesson 1 and lesson 2. Lesson 1 says, nothing I see here means anything. So everything we're talking about is really meaningless, literally meaningless. He tells you the same thing in lesson 11. My meaningless thoughts are showing me a meaningless world. Okay, then go to lesson 2, just in case you think Dove is crazy. Well, lesson 2 says, if I give any meaning to it, then guess what? I'm the only one that gives meaning to whatever it is that I think means something. It doesn't really mean anything. Go back to lesson 1. It doesn't mean anything. You got to laugh. If you're smiling and if you're laughing and not taking anything here seriously, you are, quote, enlightened.
Absolutely, absolutely. Oh, and may I just say, Dove, it's really lovely to hear you rather than see all that typing. It feels so lovely to actually hear you speak. So thank you. Really loved every
Thank
word you said. Thank you. Yes, Rafi. Hi, Rafi.
Hi. Everything everybody's sharing is so spot on. It's so perfect, really. And it just hit me. I remind myself constantly that I am free, that I am liberated, that I am realized. And there's nothing I can do about that. There's nothing I have to do about it. There's nothing you can do about that. But what I can do is use methods that have been given to me, releasing, Sedona method, Course in Miracles, Ho'oponopono, inquiry, whatever, use them all so I can just quiet this thing that keeps making the noise that says I'm not that I am this person, that I was born, I'm going to live a while and I'm going to die. Yeah, cute. But so I do. So this morning, for instance, I spent about 20 minutes just letting go of the fear of disapproval. I have an audition today. So all of these fear of disapproval feelings came up. Well, great. I let go of the fear of disapproval, the wanting approval, that wanting control came up. I let that go, wanting security. And what happened is I got to the quiet, to the peace that's beyond mine. And there it's obvious and it's omnipresent. It never wasn't, and it's now, and it always will be, and that's the reality. And when I see that, there it is, and that's what's real. This isn't, that is. So I got to get rid of identifying with this and identifying with the truth that is omnipresent, has forever been, and now will forever be. And just be grateful for all the tools I've been handed with that can get me to the point where I can get quiet so I can just be one with the truth, that self-realization, whatever you want to call it. That's always there. And so I work at it constantly because there's 2 ways to go. Either do absolutely nothing and don't react to anything and know that you are, or use all the tools available to get to the point where there is absolutely nothing. And that infinite, imperturbable peace, that enlightenment, all of those words that we get, is always sitting there. One of the great tools that we have is that writing my gains down every night for the things that I had. The gains show me that there is the divine presence cutting through this dream and saying, "Here I am, and this is what you really are." And so there's another grateful way, a way I'm grateful for all of the tools I've been handed. I mean, it's working toward our ultimate truth every single moment. There isn't a moment that hasn't been divinely orchestrated for us. And so there's the proof that it's omnipresence, that it's the only reality, this God consciousness, whatever you want to call it. And so I'm just going to shut up now.
No, don't shut up. Don't shut up. Because, you know, yes, there's these tools, Rafi, but who, Rafi, is the one using them?
Right.
You know,
I
who is
don't know.
the one exactly? Don't give it to the mind, you see, because the direct experience is that there's an I using all these different tools, and there's an I that's aware of consciousness, but then there's just consciousness. And when you ask yourself, hang on, who is the one using these tools? Who is the one even trying to control? Who's there? And then you just stop for a moment and you don't give it to the mind. That's even faster than the tool, because there's just a blankness. There's absolutely nothing there. There's absolutely nothing there. You know, it's very sharp, that kind of inquiry, you know, which I'm sort of pretty much in favor of, really, because every time I come up with some kind of any ego thing or anything, I just think, who's the one saying that? Who's the one thinking that? And then there's nothing there. Do. You know,
Yeah.
it's just, there's no exhaustion then.
No, when I use it, I go, okay, where did this mind come from? What put the
Yeah,
mind together? What's the source of this mind? Mind don't have an answer for that. It shuts up.
that
And
is,
then there's the quiet.
yeah,
And the quiet is the reality.
yeah.
And the same thing with relief. When I let go of those non-loving feelings, I'm letting go of a lot of unconscious, subconscious thoughts underneath them. And I'm getting right back to the quiet, the peace, the stillness. That's the reality. It's always there. It doesn't come and go, and it doesn't have favorites. Divine love doesn't pick. It's not. It doesn't discriminate. I'm going to love this more than I love that. It's just that. It's just there. And when I get in touch with that, and I've had these moments of realization of our infinite self. So there's no way I can let the mind try to talk me out of that ain't real. It's the mind that ain't real. Everything that is beyond that is what is.
And is your audition to come, or have you had it?
No, it's at noon today, my
Yeah,
LA
so,
time.
I mean, who's auditioning? You don't have to audition for God, do you?
No,
You know,
no. But
you're
but it's
auditioning for itself. Yes.
everything here is serving that audition brought up all of these non-loving feelings that I could get rid of. I could get to that quiet again. I could get to the peace, the love, the bliss that is our true nature.
Absolutely. They'd be mad not to have you.
And then I get to be with you guys and keeping holy company, and that and that reinforces it even greater.
Yeah, we all get reinforced coming here. It's just beautiful. Thank you so much, Rafi. Joni, I'm afraid I can see three hands, but I was so enwrapped. I didn't see whose hand went up first. I don't know if are you next?
It's in order at the top. So it's me, Mary, and then John.
Right.
And I'll just tell you real quick. I had this friend yesterday, and I was in ego analysis for a couple hours, but I could feel the pull into, oh, you're trying to direct the play. It should be this, try this kind of thing. But I felt constricted. And it wasn't until after where, you know, and it was very helpful because I don't know these people. I don't personally know them. And I noticed how easy it was to get into laughter, that I was giving directions to move the chairs on the Titanic. And also that I knew what anything was for. And I thought that was funny. So when I got to the point after we finished of thinking about what really was, I being directed, and it's like you said, Rafi, it's that and Lynn, is extending the love. In other words, if I could be love, then I would trust that I would be guided what to say or do or write or whatever. But more importantly, it was only through laughter and letting go of my judgments that I could feel, really, I'm only here to love these people. And bravo, they're doing a wonderful job in the theater of fighting and doing whatever they're doing. But for me, it was a reminder, oh, there's a call for love. There's people I get to love. I wonder how I better consult Holy Spirit on how I can best do that. And I may not get an answer right away, so don't do anything. Look, wait, judge not, pause. So anyway, that's just something I noticed. I don't know if you called in enlightenment. I don't know if I call it enlightenment, but I certainly know it's calmer and peace and funnier. Thanks, Pat.
It's enlightenment in every moment that we pause. End of. That's why it's not special. That's why it could never be personal. It's there in every moment that we pause. And every moment that we say, who is it? Who is it that even wants to be loving? Where's that one? Your mind goes blank. Don't give it to the mind to try and answer that. Immediately, it's so relaxing. Yeah. Did you say Mary was next out of Mary and John? Yeah. Mary. Hi, Mary. Sorry, John. We'll just wait for you and we'll just have Mary. Hi, Mary.
Hi, Mandy. Hi, everybody. I really like what I've heard so far. And after having two opportunities of taking in or listening to criticism yesterday, I guess just feedback, you might say, at work, this part of me just is triggered and wants to defend. And I did a little bit, but then I sat back and I just took it in, and but it still is here a little bit inside me. But this is really helping me to just remember that one tool that I got from listening to she wrote a book called like Manifesting Money. I don't know. I'll think about it. She's Australian, maybe New Zealand. But she brought out the idea of welcoming and just putting your arms out, that when you're triggered, to welcome it all. So like it's a way of opening your heart to whatever is triggering you. And so along with the other tools that Rafi has alluded to and that Lynn talked about, and Joni, it's so funny. Are you talking about the conversation that we had on the phone? Yeah, you get so, not you, but I get so triggered and worked up about people I don't even know, and I'm listening to their story. So, but I am worked up. But I'm getting calmer about these two comments that happened yesterday at work. And the cool thing is that I'm in the process of writing a review for all of my bosses. I have 9 bosses. And we get one every year at this time. And I started it, and now I can finish it at home. And it's anonymous, supposedly. And but I want to do it with love. And and I want to do it with the Holy Spirit and not just blast people. And anyway, it's just this opportunity. I just love this opportunity to just be here for an hour. And like somebody said, Rafi, be in holy company, to remind myself that I am holy and that you are holy and that, gosh darn it, we're not even really here. I love that. And
Mary,
yeah.
this, first of all, that welcoming it, that's embracing it. That's another form of releasing it, you know. So it's embracing it. That's very important. But let me just ask you, because you said that you still had a bit of that irritation there right now. Yeah. Yeah.
Little, yeah,
No,
little,
not so much.
right.
If you
Yeah.
just close your eyes and just don't try and answer, don't give it to the mind, but look, where is the one that's irritated? Who is the one that's irritated? Just try and find it, you know. Is it behind your left ear? Is it behind your right eye? Where is it?
I guess it's right here, like right in the
So
center of my face.
what's even seeing that it's right there? Try and find that one. What's seeing that?
It's like this little yellow cartoon in back of my head, and
Yeah.
inside a little. He's like, he doesn't even have a face. I don't even know why I'm saying it's a he.
Okay, so what's seeing that? What's seeing that?
Uh,
Don't give it to the mind. Don't look. If you come to a natural blank,
this big like smoke like thing, like fog inside my body, right down here, like all.
yes, but what's seeing that? Where's this? What's seeing that? Who's seeing that?
It,
Yeah. Don't look. Don't give it to the mind. Don't even search it.
like a couple of eyes that are underneath my feet, and then like a big cloud up above me.
Yeah, but you're giving it to the mind by doing that. Because if you do this on your own, not now because we haven't got time, just keep asking, who is the one that sees that? Who is the one that sees that? Your mind goes blank, first of all. It can't go, the mind can't get it, you see. The mind can't bear that question. It can't bear any introspective self-inquiry questions. It can't bear it because it can't frame the words. It can't. So it's a very quick way. Just me, who is the one that feels it? Uh, and you will find if you just practice this, you won't be able to find anything. There'll just be a blankness. Just work with that one. Okay.
What to do? Okay, thank you.
Yeah. We can always have a chat about that. Yeah.
Okay, okay.
Right, John and Mary, I just want to thank you for everything you said. What I love about your shares is that I love the way you just talk honestly about what's going on for you. You know what I mean? And it's very, very valuable. So really, thank you so much. You are a blessing. Yeah. Hi, John. Yeah.
Hi, everybody, and thank you, Mary, for that introduction. Because that was kind of speak to what my topic is knowing thyself, and that's the name of the whole game for me. Just getting to know and understand myself. So, I love the part you mentioned about welcome, because you can't even say that word without feeling good about something. Like, welcome, Mary, welcome, everybody. It just makes it softens the whole thing. So like it's a big deal to welcome. Yeah, that's right. Take a deep breath on that. Welcome, Mary. Welcome. That's awesome. Like just to welcome whatever's coming my way. And so just as a starters, like Byron Katie and all these people, they're saying, welcome more, bring it on, sister, bring it on. This message is here for me, and like Mandy was just saying, like there's tools for you can work with this if you're willing to go there. Now I can ask more questions about it. And it's a discovery, and it's all about knowing thyself. And knowing thyself for me speaks to the beginning of our program today when we talked about a bunch of flowers, just to be among a bunch of flowers. They don't have too much problem with each other. They can just bloom and do their own thing, just the way they were created to be. Just being a flower is a big, big deal. In fact, it's the highest form of spiritual expression on the planet without self-awareness. It's just expressed in the way that God wanted them to express, So, I mean, that's an incredible metaphor. And they get along or they don't get along with whatever comes their way. And so just to be in a bunch of beautiful flowers is a big deal. The thing is that for me, what comes is the integration the integration of the ego versus getting rid of it, you know. Now we spoke about that just starting at the beginning of it, you know. And so, and then the choices comes along, you know, with these meaningless things that I'm giving myself. What choice, you know, what choice can I go? Which direction can I go, you know, with these meaningless thoughts, if I'm going to do anything with them? Because I mean, when we're going for an audition, that's hearing something, and the hearing something is my own personal audition. I'm doing internal dialogue all the time. Oh, I'm giving myself all these meanings, and the young man Joe is waving his hand. I don't know what he's waving it about, but he's giving meaning to something, and it's just a reminder that I'm doing this all the time. Like in the poem, it says it's such a beautiful poem. So in terms of the evolution of that consciousness that came through to the flower and moved on into the animal form, if there's going to be any enlightenment, for goodness sakes, I got to look to the fact that this power is operating through me, through my form, with a purpose. And its purpose is to change my awareness so I become more self-aware and know what's going on. So who is the self? I can choose that, the self, the ego, and that's becoming knowing myself. And I'm blabbering on here for a long time, but it's just to welcome me and my thoughts and everybody here into the awareness that there's a much greater power than ourselves, and we are, you know, whether it's enlightenment or plotting or stepping out, like this is a journey. And it's, hey, sister, it's like, or whoever, brother, like we're all in this game together. We're all a beautiful bunch of flowers. So anyway, I'll shut up with that and say how grateful I am.
Don't feel like that. Please don't feel. Every word that you say is beautiful, John. Thank you so much. That was lovely. Yeah, we had somebody there being a bit distracting. So I don't know JJ, but you're very welcome. But it's just best.
Sorry there, JJ back here. Sorry, I was just waving at people. I thought this was like a friendly environment. I just thought I'd be here and wave at people.
Very friendly environment, but it's just that when people are talking, it's just kind of like we just sort of listen, and you know, we'd love to hear from you, but we just sort of kind of take it in turns so we're not all talking at once. So thank
I'm
you
sorry
very
about that,
much.
Mandy from the Trolls. I'm
Oh
done.
no, it's very lovely to have you. Don't go away.
Sassy John, thank you.
Thank you. Okay. All right. Thank you. Right. So then we have Sally. Hi, Sally.
Hello. I love that. I love that poem. I love your poetry. I love you. I just think you're wonderful. And I love everybody
Thank
here.
you.
All your shares are just fantastic. And that poem is my life. It described, you know, pretty much my path. And lately, you know, it's like, I want to hear the Holy Spirit. I want to connect with the Holy Spirit. I want to trust the Holy Spirit. And I just started just sitting back and just watching my reactions to people and not judging them, you know, and laughing at them. You know, the other day my stepdaughter said something, and it was just some offhanded remark, and right away I got defensive, and then I just started like